Skin, Piel. Figure 1. Male figure, in vivo. This is the drawing of a man, aged indeterminate, sitting in the countryside on a block of ancient stone. The horizon curves across the center of the picture at chest height, dividing convoluted formations of cloud from a tidy pastoral land. The man, of age unknown, looks down to his left and forwards. His expression is mild, slightly surprised. He has a leather hat with long lobes for his ears and no other clothes. A cloth is draped for modesty. All is white or black, and shape is given to objects using a great harmonious grid of lines that thin and thicken to lead the eye. He is sitting with knees apart, waist twisted. A muscle from each arm stands up like a Japanese fan cut out and folded flat. I cannot speak, and so I will talk in whatever way I can. I cannot speak, and so I will show in whatever way I can the way I am. Man or woman, what does it matter now? But should you look, you will see. All of me is here, but no blood. The rivers and streams of my circulation are all changed into channels for formaldehyde, browned and shrunken. I cannot speak, and so will never lie, and every word will be fiction. This page is dyed with the ink of my image, drawn from stone like a fossil, an engraving, wood, plant bodies and fibre, block, ink and paper. Very auspicious companions, and prepared with the greatest care. I cannot speak, and yet already you know how thin I am. 1 page thick. No, one side of 1 page, one face. The depth and thickness precisely of 1 atom, perhaps. But do not be deceived. I am not shallow. Have more than 1 facet. I cannot speak, and so how do we make this connection? In seeing my image, do you read my mind or your own? Am I clear? Are you my interpreter, my life spoken through your mouth, or am I only a catalyst for interpretations of your own condition? I cannot speak, but you know that I must be dead, and no ghost, me, no apparition, but 6 ounces per square yard of dried, pressed cotton pulp. A picture in a book. No, an illustration, a figure. Each morning the sun, each morning the rising, spinning round in axial rotation, passing through seasons and pulling the earth around with its gravity. Circle after circle drawn in space, year after year the lines make a pattern like a flower that grow and repeat until the ink from their passage thickens and saturates. The passage of time has become like a pen whose nib has cut through the paper and onto the table beneath. Is that a life, then? The life of a flower lived out on paper? Circles and spirals and the pen running over, across and through its own history. The portrait is thickened, one atom and one cut at a time. The portrait, once made, is a continuous line, and once cut through by the steel nib, is a line coiled like a spring. This line of progress could be stretched out straight to great lengths, draped around the sky like paper chains at a party. Take my skin that you can see here. It is covered in tiny lines, and the older I become, the more lines it has, as if some pen were writing out my life on its surface and passing over and again the same places, cutting deeper by one atom at a time. Somewhere in my future the line will become clear, like a sewing pattern or a map, and my skin can be lifted away in a long thread and curled or hung around like an unravelled sweater. Alas, I am undone. Done and undone. Two states of being and more questions there. When your life is done, are you undone? I do until I am done, and then I did all that I could. Will that be the grammar of my life? When life is past and I am truly unfurled like a great banner, I will be without skin, sin, Piel, no longer covered, no longer seen and recognized. As I walk through life, I cackle like a bird, communicating in some way the intricacies and simplicities of each moment. A raven flying high over these fields makes one clear call that spreads out from its epicenter, from its throat to all of the surrounding air, a statement of clarity more wise and succinct than a lifetime of words. At that level, from there, the raven lives each moment, and its grammar is present and simple. Closed in the darkness of this book, I can read the words that press me flat, words embossed into paper by the weight of a printing press, each letter bitten down, compressing the cotton fibers, flooding the indent with ink, the margins of the words, the heavy smell of their blue blackness, pressed flat upon my body. Storpiato, a contorted pose. Yes, I cannot deny discomfort. Half sitting, my eyes will never see you. They cannot. They are dead, and even were they alive, my lids cover them to within the smallest slit. An enforced modesty, this. In deference to you, the viewer, a posture of agonizing punishment, not fit, not at all fit. The bent knee, sometimes supported on a peg, is also common to beggars and professional cripples, a 16th century mendicant. I don't know. Is that a nice thing to say about me? Muscles of the thorax, abdomen and arm, superficial dissection. Superficial? On the surface. Yes, that is where I am. But not in my soul, not shallow in my heart. I have thought thoughts, I have looked inside myself, and I have had revelations, startling, terrifying ideas. My elbow is resting on a staff. I am balanced to a kind of perfection, like falling asleep in a carriage, or standing asleep to wait for the mail coach. Male figure in vivo, anterior view. Giulio Caseri, cut me. And Adriaan van der Spiegel made me alive again with his art. De humani corpus fabrica libri decem. 1627 Anno Domini. Before them, before my makers, I was a poor man. Nobody knew my name, and I cannot remember it myself. There are letters and numbers written on the page indicating muscle groups. The skin of his arms is rolled down from the shoulder like shirt sleeves in reverse. He wears a leather hat on his head and a length of cloth around his hips. He sits on a tomb, his own not at all. His body was buried outside the cemetery and unmarked. He shared the ground with others of his social class. A bed of quicklime. Tab XV is his name. Male figure in vivo. The expression on his face is hard to define, a kind of reverie. He could be singing a sad, slow ballad, perhaps. Tab XV was no hero, led no armed uprising, was not assassinated for his beliefs, but here, 500 years on, he is an icon. Notes from a hanged man. Metal. Blood is like rust crawling in crystalline forms, unmaking geometry as benign, and calcareous kaleidoscopes across the skin of human thought and hope. Hopes are forged and riveted together, children cast like coins or fathered, by a hammer swung in rhythmic comprehension, a pattern to be copied through generations. So I was made in the fire of my mother. I am melted and reformed through ardor, orange iron bones, ferrous flesh, a conscious corrosion of all histories past. Wood. Standing straight in bound fibres, muscular trees are cut and dried like flowers, roots and heads discarded, a stolid torso, doughty arms sawn straight by metal jaws. I marry wooden limbs, arrange assignations, match make, half house, dovetail for tension. Un carpintero whose eye lifts and measures, designing a fit for all parts with pleasure. The passage of my saw through plank and rafter marks the passage of its future and hereafter. A creation through destruction, cutting to heal. A shelter of roof and walls for life concealed. Rope. The beginning and the end are difficult, but chiefly the end, whose strands laid out are hard to unify because it is the nature of fibers, once twisted, to unwind into the future so. This rope by which my life hangs was made with the stalks of nettle, and each thread rolled between finger and thumb to sustain a tension once begun, and every thread spiraled in will be thicker As strands and strands, 3 on 3, together give the strength that hold me clear of the earth. Paper. An elegant summary, this sheet. A temporary suspension of disbeliefs. My life reduced to lines and flat. Sheaves of information caught, stacked. A page is made from all the little pieces, all the ends and scraps complete it. Swollen with water, confused adrift, then squeezed and held until they stick. My skin, reproduced upon skin, pierced by points and cut thin, a bold tattoo that beats the drum of my life in words and pictures.